Imagine being handed a government issued weapon, dropped into Pakistan, and ordered to cross the Soviet border, and having absolutely no idea what your mission is. Now, imagine that the government didn't choose you because you were qualified, but they chose you because they expected you to die. In 1985, Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd turned that Cold War nightmare into one of the decade's biggest and strangest spy comedies. It had nuclear missiles, deadly training exercises, an army of famous cameos, and a screenplay that was originally intended to reunite Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi together. Today, we are taking a classified journey behind Spies Like Us. Doctors,
Doctors.
glad you could join us. Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the podcast where we revisit the movies, television shows, actors, unforgettable moments that made the 80s and 90s such a great time to be a fan. Before we begin, though, we'd like to just always reach out and say, please follow us on our social media accounts so that you don't miss our newest episodes. Anything fun we might do, like retro movie trivia, videos, and upcoming projects and everything. So we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, and of course we're here on YouTube as well, where you can see a lot of our archive in video format. If you enjoy retro-inspired T-shirts, movie-themed humor, and original designs, visit our T-shirt shop at vintagevibesshop.com. And I don't think you'll be too disappointed. We got quite a few shirts that are movie retro. Well, words.
Yeah.
Retro movie inspired. So it's not a direct reference or indirect references, but you should recognize the movie if you're a fan of the movie and everything. We also have some retro movie inspired shirts with animals on it, which is Marty's idea. They're kind of funny too.
Yeah.
And then we do some humor shirts to toss at you. Dad jokes or just humor shirts in general. We try to have a little fine mix for everybody there. So take a look at the shop, see if you find something you want, order about 10 to 15 of them. We'll all be happy campers.
Yeah.
It's a good way of supporting us as well as sharing the web address for the T-shirt shop and our social medias. So, of course, every purchase helps support the show and allows us to bring you more trips back to the greatest decades of entertainment. Now grab your survival gear, turn that map the correct way up, and try not to start World War III. Because today we're discussing Spies Like Us. Marty? Doctor?
Doctor. and then Bob Hope. I'm glad I'm not having no surgery.
Doctor? That's one of the best parts of the movie. I don't know why it is, but it's one of the best parts of the whole movie. They get in a tent. There's nothing but doctors in there, and they're acting like they're doctors. So they all greet each other as doctor. I think doctor was said probably 50 times.
Yeah, at least 50 times that I know of. So
it was something else. When's the last time you watched this movie before today, Marty?
I hate to say it, but it's been at least back in the 90s. So
I cannot 100% truthfully say that I've watched the movie before today, but I think I tried to a couple of times because I do remember some of the scenes from it. I just don't remember all of it. I think this might be one of the movies that was on TV one day. I sat down and tried to watch and then got disinterested, got up and went and done something else possibly. Because when I was younger, this would have probably been a movie I wouldn't have watched very much of. I never was a huge fan of Dan Aykroyd, although I do like some of his stuff.
mhm.
And I like some of Chevy Chase's stuff, especially National Lampoon's movies. But then there's always a couple of his things that's just like, it's just not great Chevy Chase humor.
They don't grab you. So
I don't think these two put together grab me. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, like you mentioned earlier, that would have grabbed me probably.
Yeah, yeah, because it's old school Blues Brothers back reunited.
Right. And I think I could have got into that. That would have been pretty good for me. But I'm not saying it was a bad movie either. I mean,
No,
I
I mean,
enjoyed
I'm not,
watching it today.
yeah, I'm not neither. I'm not knocking this movie because after I watched it earlier today, it had its funny moments. I mean, I laughed at a lot of it, but then it was some of it I just kind of was brushed off like dry humor. I mean,
Right.
it's like I'm more I like I hate to say it, but I'm more slapstick comedy than I am dry humor comedy because I don't really care for dry humor comedy that much. So
I think it depends on who's bringing the dry humor to us. Chevy
uh,
Chase once again. I mean, I liked his Fletch movies, but
uh,
I didn't find them hilarious.
yeah,
I do laugh at the National Lampoon's movies though. And I
uh,
don't know if it's because of him or the people writing the movie.
I think it's a combination of both because if he didn't have the supporting cast that he does in the National Lampoon's movies, then there wouldn't be no National Lampoon's movies. So Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid. I
And then
mean,
that's the only two that really return every movie.
yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, but I mean, in the other, I mean, you got like Anthony Michael Hall in the original, and then you got John Candy in the original. So
Briefly, yeah, but
yeah,
still. Well, this movie, to give a quick overview of it, so it was released on December 6th, 1985. Spies Like Us is a Cold War buddy comedy directed by John Landis, the filmmaker behind Animal House, Blues Brothers, An American Werewolf in London, and Trading Places. Pay attention to the first two, Animal House and Blues Brothers. I think that is what we were shooting for here originally by having Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
mm-hmm.
I guess before the passing of John Belushi and everything.
Right.
Um, Chevy Chase plays Emmett Fitz-Hume, a charming but lazy State Department employee who relies more on confidence and family connections than actual ability. And can being a state employee, can I tell you that describes a ton of state employees? Their parents worked there, and I'm one to talk because my parents worked for the state too. but
Yeah,
but it's I know so many people that are there because
because of their parents and their grandparents, and
and they're just there just for a family legacy. It seems like because they don't do their jobs well at all. No names, of course, no names. Um, Dan Aykroyd plays Austin Millbarge, an intelligent but overlooked Pentagon technician who dreams of becoming a field agent. After both men cheat during government examination, they are unexpectedly promoted, rushed through a completely ridiculous training program, and sent on a secret overseas mission. Fitz-Hume and Millbarge believe they've finally become real spies, but what they don't know is that they are expendable decoys selected to draw enemy attention away from a more capable team. The assignments, the assignment sends them through Pakistan and into Soviet territory where a mission they barely understand places a nuclear missile and possibly the entire world in their hands. It's part spy spoof, part buddy comedy, and part satire of Cold War paranoia. Warner
mhm.
Brothers describes the film as a Cold War farce about two total misfits who want to become CIA spies. The movie was also conceived as a tribute to the globetrotting Bob Hope and Bing Crosby road comedies.
Well, and that's when Bob Hope pops up in it.
It's
So
not just it's funny he pops up in it, right? And the part about them being accused of not accused, they were cheating through their examination.
dude, that was hilarious. Chevy Chase, he comes walking in there with Dan Aykroyd, and they're both trying to squeeze through the door, and then they finally get in through the door, and Chevy Chase he sits down, and then he looks and they pop the test open, He like pulls his eye patch back, and he's all like, he's reading the inside of the questions. He puts it back, and he starts writing the answers down. And then his fake arm in the cast, he like pulls his real arm out, and he's like, he starts out, and then he's got the piece of paper in his mouth, and he pulls it out. And he's all like, oh.
And the teacher's got cameras out looking at him, you know. But he's sitting next to him. He's like, trying to pull. Look at my paper.
What's the answer?
Like it's like no one's paying attention. That was so ridiculous. It was funny. I mean, it really was. Great scene in the movie though. Pre-production and development for the movie. The original story, as we have said several times, was written. Well, we haven't said this. Written by Dan Aykroyd and Dave Thomas, with the final screenplay credited to Aykroyd, Lowell Gans, and Babalu Mandel. Aykroyd and John Belushi, as we've said, originally planned to star together. Tragically, Belushi died in March of '82 before the movie could be made. So I guess this was delayed quite a few years, you could say, before it was put out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the project didn't immediately become
they had to find somebody to replace John Belushi, and they landed on Chevy Chase.
Well, there was actually two of the people that were considered to do this roles. The project didn't immediately become a Chevy Chase movie. After Belushi's death, a version starring Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis was announced.
Okay.
Carl Gottlieb was also reportedly involved with an uncredited rewrite before the movie eventually arrived at Warner Brothers, with Chase joining Aykroyd. That means audiences nearly received three different comedy teams. The first one being Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, the second being Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis, and the third being Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. The final screenplay retained the basic contrast that makes the movie work. Millbarge understands technology but lacks field experience, while Fitz-Hume possesses endless confidence without the skills to justify it. The development history and alternate casting are documented in the AFI catalog. Marty, of the three pairs of comedy teams mentioned there, including the one we got that we seen in the movie, so try to think outside the box for a second. We just watched it again today, so naturally we probably revert to them because we just watched them. But who do you think could have played this movie the best? Could Aykroyd and Belushi been better? Could Thomas and Moranis been better?
Or even just maybe even Dan Aykroyd and Rick Moranis, because of them playing in Ghostbusters together.
True, but they weren't mentioned as a team. Dan Aykroyd wasn't even going to be in it without Belushi. So they were going to go with Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis. And then when they decided against them, they brought Dan Aykroyd back and said, look, we got Chevy Chase. You know, let's put you two together. And Chevy Chase is kind of a big deal in comedy in the 80s.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
but I'm drawing a blank on who Dave Thomas is. What else has he been in? So
you are going to make me look that up because I can somewhat picture him in my mind, but I'm not positive if it's him or not. So anyway, yep, that's who I thought it was. Okay. Dave Thomas has, of course, SCTV. It's like Bob and Doug. Let's see. Let's look at his duo. He's a Canadian actor, comedian, television writer, known for being one half of the duo Bob and Doug McKenzie with Rick Moranis. So, if anything, they got the whole SCTV thing together.
Oh, was he opposite of Richard Pryor in Moving? Was he one of the? Was he the?
He
guy?
he was the butler dude in Rat Race. Do you remember the who kept betting for John Cleese, like with the prostitute, of what she would do, like in a hot tub of Pepto-Bismol or something like that?
Okay. Now I know who you're talking about. Well, in a way, I might could have seen the Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis playing
Dave.
these roles.
So just to give you another thing here, Dave Thomas was in Moving. Yes, he was also in Stripes, Strange Brew, Sesame Street Presents Follow That Bird, The Experts. He was in Coneheads. Like I said, Rat Race. Who's Your Daddy? Beethoven's Fifth. And then just various other things. He was all over television for the years as well. So too much of that to go into. So we won't jump into that. But that gives you an idea of who he was, though. He just had a history with Rick Moranis mainly with SCTV, just like John Candy and a few other great comedians. So
sure.
So him and Moranis together could have been great for sure.
Yeah.
I think Moranis would have been Aykroyd's character, and Dave Thomas would have been Chevy Chase's character.
Yeah, I could see that because Rick Moranis gives off that technical feel.
Right. So, that would have been interesting, to say the least. Very interesting. Filming of the mission, principal photography began in February of '85. This was a much larger than a typical studio comedy, however, so production moved between places like Palmdale, California, Washington, D.C., Pinewood Studios in England, Norway, Morocco. Norway doubled for the frozen Soviet Union, while Morocco provided the desert locations. According to the AFI production history, the sub-zero Norwegian temperatures created genuinely difficult conditions for the cast and crew as well. So when he said, "Why are we pulling all this crap with us?" He said, "Trust me, you'll thank me for it when we get there."
We're in -degree weather.
Yeah. I think they are all appreciative if they had some heavy parkas and warmth like that up there.
But I mean, it was crazy. They're both crazy looking because they're wearing these big old, look like bear suits almost, like polar bear suits. Like it was all white and furry, and then they had the big old hats on their heads and stuff.
They were crazy looking, to say the least. The filming continued until May of '85, giving Landis a globe-trotting canvas filled with military equipment, snowy landscapes, desert camps, missile facilities, and elaborate action sequences. Cinematographer Robert Painter, who had previously worked with Landis on An American Werewolf in London and Trading Places, photographed the movie. Elmer Bernstein, the legendary composer behind The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, and Ghostbusters, provided the score. So we get the cast and some other notable roles here. We'll start with the obvious ones. Chevy Chase played Emmett Fitz-Hume. We've known him through Saturday Night Live, Land Shark. I always thought Land Shark. Caddyshack. Well, Land Shark being that Saturday Night Live, for those who don't know. I'm sorry, I should have said that. Caddyshack, Fletch, National Lampoon's Vacation movies. Fitz-Hume is perfectly suited to his screen persona, sarcastic and smug, occasionally cowardly, and somehow able to survive situations that should destroy him. Sarcastic and smug is pretty much Chevy Chase, from what I understand from reading about him, from a lot of other people say. Not to mention, he did come to Nashville to the Comic-Con in 2025. Did you go to that one? You didn't go to that one with me, did
I didn't go. You did.
So he was there, and Randy Quaid was there. And Randy Quaid had to cancel because of weather conditions, and Chevy Chase came the next day. And Chevy Chase does this. Susan Sarandon does this, and there's a few others that do it. It really irks me. I don't understand why they want to be this way, but they will put themselves inside of an enclosed area, and then the people who are wanting to meet them, when they get in line to front, they end up going through the curtain to the table where they are. It's like no one else can see their interaction with what's going on or anything. So you can't see the person from afar just to say, "Hey, I saw Chevy Chase sitting at the table. I couldn't get to him because the line was so long," or he wanted $200 and I wasn't about to give him $200 to sign a picture for me or something. But it would have been nice to see him, visually see him there. I did visually see Susan Sarandon at the one we went to because her curtain was open for a bit and she was in there with somebody. So you get to kind of see in there a little bit. But
Mhm.
I think it's ridiculous they do that though, and it's not really recommended by the people that run the cons either. They say it turns people off; they won't go to their line, which I understand. It's feels kind of impersonal to me. But
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd plays Austin Millbarge. Aykroyd was coming off an incredible run through that time, including the Blues Brothers and Trading Places and Ghostbusters. Millbarge allows Aykroyd to use his rapid fire technical dialogue and fascination with the government systems. He's socially awkward, but far more competent than anyone initially realizes. Donna Dixon plays the role of Karen Boyer, one of the doctors,
Yeah. Doctor.
doctor, who is not really a doctor,
Not
just
really a doctor.
like they're not a doctor. She is one of the legitimate agents assigned to the real mission. Dixon was known for the television series Bosom Buddies and movies including Dr. Detroit and Twilight Zone, the movie. Dixon was married to Aykroyd at the time. I asked you this earlier and I wasn't sure, so there we go. And
Yeah.
was reportedly reluctant to audition because she didn't want to receive the role simply because she was his wife. Steve Forrest plays General Sline. Forrest portrays one of the military leaders behind the operation. Was known for starring as Lieutenant Hondo Harrelson on the original SWAT. I knew him from somewhere.
Yeah. I did too. So
Man, okay, and television appearances and for appearing in movies including The Longest Day and Mommy Dearest. Bruce Davison played Ruby. Now I know where I knew him from, but I'll say it in just a second. Davison had already starred in Willard, and would later receive an Academy Award nomination for Longtime Companion. Younger audiences may recognize him as Senator Robert Kelly from the first two X-Men films. One of Mystique it took the form of, and Magneto tried to make him into a mutant, and he just kind of fell apart.
Kind of melted away into water.
Right. Bernie Casey played Colonel Rumbus. He was the guy that was to train the decoy spies in Aykroyd and Chase.
Man, that was so hilarious when
It was.
when he salutes and you hear the haircut.
Yeah. And then he goes, Chevy Chase. He's like, "Hey there." And he goes, "Oh, okay, just a little quick salute." Casey, he appeared in Revenge of the Nerds, and I knew where I'd seen him before already. But Revenge of the Nerds, Sharky's Machine, Never Say Never Again, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Revenge of the Nerds, he was the guy that brought the fraternity.
Yeah, he was the other. He was the dean of the other the college that they had applied. Well, they got their Alpha Lambda.
Lambda.
They had the Lambda. Yeah.
Trilambs.
The Trilambs, yeah.
Colonel Rumbus oversees the agent's hilariously dangerous training program. We like to be scorched earth as we're training.
Man, they put them through all kinds of crazy training, like crash test dummy training, and man, that was crazy when he was all like, get in that nasty water right now, pow 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 at the ground, and they jump in, and then they come popping back up, and he's like, I didn't say to come back up, and those guys with the machine guns are like.
Right in the water. Gosh, William Prince played Keys. Prince accumulated an enormous list of movies and television credits, including Network, The Gauntlet, Family Plot, and The Stepford Wives, amongst other things. The Gauntlet was the Clint Eastwood movie, right?
Yes,
I thought so.
Awesome movie.
Yes, one of these days, Marty.
That's him and his ex. That was
hey, one of these days. I know we don't delve into the 70s too much, but the Dirty Harry movies and
Dirty Harry, The Gauntlet.
I make an exception for Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
for sure.
For
sure. Tom Hatton played General Meigs. Hatton was an actor, television personality, and longtime Los Angeles children's show host. His film credits include Sweet Charity and The Secret of Nim. The box office performance. You know what? I'm sorry. Before we jump to the box office performance, we want a couple of notable names here to throw out because you reminded me earlier of the one. She was playing one of the Russian agents, and she was the one that was getting with Dan Aykroyd at the end of it. Now we were joking about that. That's where my sub name comes from. Want to go out with a bang because it looks like the world's coming to an end after the missile launch.
Yeah.
And Aykroyd figures they've got
everybody's getting busy before the end of the world.
Aykroyd figures they get about 42 minutes to live before the world comes to an end as they know it. So Chevy Chase looks at Donna Dixon's character and goes, "Want to go out with a bang?" And she's like, "Normally, sir, I would throw a drink in your face if we were at a bar." And she goes, "But see the circumstances." Next thing you know, the Russian dude and woman on the other end look at each other. And then you got one girl left, and there's three guys, including Dan Aykroyd. And the two Russian dudes look at each other and grin real big and go prancing off. Because I had forgotten. I guess either I'd forgotten or I hadn't seen that part, one or the other. And it kind of cracked me up because they just go. I was totally unexpected. I thought there was going to be like a fight for the last girl or something, and they just go prancing off together. But the girl that he ends up with, Vanessa Angel. If you loved Weird Science, the movie, and you went to the TV series when they turned it into a TV series. She's the one that played the role of Lisa in the TV series. She was also in Kingpin, and she was the girlfriend to Woody Harrelson in Kingpin. I think it was Woody Harrelson, wasn't it? Or was it?
It was Woody's girlfriend.
Woody's girlfriend, yeah. So that's pretty much the notable name I want to get out there for sure. And also, we have a list of people who were there as cameos.
Crazy cameos.
So the best cameo for me is Frank Oz. He played the teacher giving the test out at the beginning of it to the people who want to be a field agents. Frank Oz did the voices of many things, including Yoda. He told Chevy Chase when he was messing up on that test, he's like, "Do or do not, but do not cheat." Anyway, Terry Gilliam, Costa Gavras, Joel Cohen, Larry Cohen, Sam Raimi had a guest appearance in it. Michael Apted, Martin Brest, Ray Harryhausen, and Derek Meddings. B.B. King and a television newsman, Edwin Newman, also appear in it. And we have a Bob Hope appearance as he is golfing in the desert, apparently. I was like, "Can I play through this?" And goes through. Now, Sam Raimi, let's go up to Sam Raimi for a second. Marty, you want to lay it out there about Mr. Sam Raimi?
Mr. Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, director of Evil Dead. Sam Raimi, also director of my favorite Marvel Spider-Man movies. So,
now, did he do the Tobey Maguire or the
Tobey? He did the Tobey.
Okay, yeah. Sam Raimi also, for those of you, if you live close to where we are, we're just outside of Nashville in Tennessee. If you're a Sam Raimi fan, you want to drive up to Lexington in March, I believe it is, of 2027. Yes, Sam Raimi and a bunch of others from the Evil Dead and some other horror movies. They're having, well, it's not just the horror movies, or actually, you know what, Marty? It's not 2027. It's later this year in October. They're having their horror con there. That's where he's going to be at.
Oktoberfest.
Yes. So Sam Raimi and people from the Evil Dead and other horror movies and such at that time will be there. Gosh, a 3.5 hour drive. I would almost consider it just for the fact that.
But we got our own con to be going to.
I know, but I mean, is it the same weekend? I mean, if
I'm
it's not
pretty sure it is.
If it's not the same weekend, I mean, Lance Guest is going to be there, and that's the last Starfighter guy, too. So that will be kind of cool for me, and we just compared it to meet Lance Guest, if anything. So I've already got his autograph where he come on the show. So I mean, I'm fine with that. on that poster, but I would still get a picture made with him like I did with Catherine Mary Stewart. That would be
Hey,
cool.
but you gotta think who's gonna be at the celebrity con. Nick Castle of all people.
I'm still what? No, I'm definitely going to that. I got to get Nick Castle. I don't have his name on the poster yet. It's got to go on there. Definitely. So back to Bob Hope for a second. Because the film was inspired by the Hope and Crosby Road movies, Bob Hope appears briefly during the tent sequence. His presence acts like an unofficial blessing from the era of comedy that inspired the story. And that's the only thing it will be there for, because it makes no sense otherwise other than a quick comedy cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
The song "Spies Like Us," the main song from the soundtrack, was written and performed by the Beatle, Mr. Beatle himself, Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty does not believe me, but as sure as I'm sitting here, I promise you, the song reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early '86.
I still don't believe it.
Look it up in your spare time.
I will.
Look it up, sir. Research. I know you don't like the word research, but look it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Landis also directed a music video which featured McCartney with Chase and Aykroyd. The training section may be the movie's most memorable sequence.
Mm-hmm.
The survival course includes explosions, live ammunition, collapsing structures, and virtually no concern for the recruit's safety. And Colonel Rumbus is so unconcerned about casualties that the program becomes a perfect parody of action movie training montages. And like you said, Marty, it was hilarious.
Yes, the whole training part was funny.
I mean,
like what is it? The thing where it's going around in circles. And
yeah, gravitational. To see what kind of G-force they could handle.
Yeah, G-force. Yeah, and their mouths are all like, and their hair is all like.
They have come off of it and they're walking in the hall and their hair is still blown back and their eyes are pulled back and their cheeks are pulled back. Their mouths are like, and then one of them, he's like,
I think it was Chevy Chase that said it. He was all like, "You feel like some coffee?"
Yeah,
like, sure. Let's go get some coffee.
Coffee sounds good. It was great. The examination scene that includes Frank Oz. Oz, famous for performing characters such as Yoda, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear, plays the examination monitor. His scene with Fitz-Hume produces one of the movie's best-known exchanges, and the reoccurring doctor gag.
Mm-hmm.
The filmmakers receive royal assistance. The end credits thank Queen Elizabeth II, Norway's King Olav V, and Morocco's King Hassan II, reflecting the unusual international cooperation required for the production. I guess you do want to give acknowledgement to stuff like that, right?
I mean, because I would think just acknowledging the place where they film and the like the king or queen of that country, you would want to have them listed somewhere in the credits, and it does, like at the very end of the credits, like where it says special thank yous to, and it just lists the whole everybody, like right there, countries and everything. So.
Right. Well, let's jump to some box office performance and talk about that for a minute, and then VHS, and then we'll jump back to a few more little trivia things. But Spies Like Us opened with approximately $8.6 million during its first domestic weekend. Its original North American run eventually earned approximately $60.1 million, against a frequently reported production budget of approximately $22 million. So the movie was a clear theatrical success despite receiving mixed reviews. It still made 3 times the money practically.
Yeah.
Some sources report an additional $17.2 million internationally, producing a worldwide total of 77.3 million. Because Box Office Mojo currently provides a confirmed domestic figure but no international total, might be best just to present a 60.1 as the documented number, and we can say it's possible it made
Yeah, we can
77.3.
guesstimate it. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
guesstimate.
we can say it's possible. We just don't know for a fact what the foreign figures were. So how did it perform on VHS? This was one of those movies. I'm sure
Yep. Sound life.
everything, not one single movie ever, I don't think, did not do good on VHS, because we got to a point in our lives to where, when, if you couldn't afford to go to the movie theaters, or even after you went to the movie theaters, you wanted to watch it again, you always rented it on the weekends if there's something you wanted to watch. So,
Either you rented it or you bought it.
or you bought it if you are a person who had your own VCR at the time and things like that. Spies Like Us reached Warner Home Video on VHS in 1986, and it was subsequently reissued several times, including another VHS edition in 1998. However, reliable public figures for the number of tapes sold or rented and a verified industry chart position do not appear to be available to give you a number on the type of money it made. But
Mhm.
rest assured, like every other movie that came out, it
In
made
the
money on
80s. Yeah.
VHS.
Mhm.
There's no way that didn't. It'd be misleading of us to claim otherwise, that it was one of the biggest releases or something. We don't really know, but it was popular to theater. If it's popular to theater, it's popular on VHS when it comes out.
Exactly.
What can we say? What we can say is that multiple cassette editions helped keep the movie circulating through rental stores and home collections. It later moved to DVD, Blu-ray, digital distribution, giving it a much longer life than its mixed original reviews might have suggested. A Warner VHS edition dated September 24th of 98 remains documented in the format's retail history. I've been out there. So I never owned it on VHS.
I
Um,
did. But I had quite a few Chevy Chase movies on VHS. I had, well, let's see, I had the very first National Lampoon's Vacation. I had the first Fletch movie. I had Funny Farm. Um, I had quite a good little library on Chevy Chase movies. So, and
See,
Spies Like
that's
Us was one of them.
my biggest thing with Chevy Chase. Like I said, I did enjoy Fletch, and I watched Fletch too. But before all that came out, seems like Old Times and Foul Play. I enjoyed those movies.
Yes,
My mom would rent those quite often, so I got to watch those many times. The National Lampoon's movies I liked. I Funny Farm was okay. I didn't find it to be the greatest. His character in Caddyshack was fun,
yes.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't really a Chevy Chase movie per se. Um, he
Well,
was.
it was Chevy Chase with a great supporting cast. So
Is it more of a Chevy Chase movie though?
I think it is. I mean, because he was one of the main characters.
You know what,
So
that can be like a discussion point for like a small video one day we do, like, was Caddyshack a Chevy Chase movie or something?
yeah.
We could do that. Um, Ronald Reagan appears through he appears through archival footage. He's credited as the president of the United States through existing footage, placing this very silly comedy directly inside the recognizable politics of the 80s. Donna Dixon previously passed on another Aykroyd movie. According to AFI's historical notes, Dixon reportedly turned down the female lead in Ghostbusters because she would have been starring opposite of her new husband. She eventually accepted the role of Karen Boyer in Spies Like Us, though.
Mm.
Um, it reunited two original SNL live performers. Chase and Aykroyd were both members of the original SNL era, but Spies Like Us gave them a major feature built specifically around their contrasting comedy styles. The comedy itself hides a surprisingly dark idea. Fitz-Hume and Millbarge aren't simply poorly trained agents. Their superiors intentionally select them as expendable human targets. Underneath the slapstick, the movie is criticizing military bureaucracy, secret spending, and the willingness of powerful officials to sacrifice ordinary people.
Exactly. Well, I mean, towards the very end of the movie, when the laser misses the missile, I mean, they were ready to start World War III. I mean,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, to keep the American way. It says to
yeah,
keep the
to keep
American
the
way of
American
life.
way. Yeah.
And I noticed they referred to this as slapstick. You mentioned earlier, you said you like slapstick, but this is more of a dry humor movie to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's got slapstick moments, but it does have more dry humor moments. So, but I mean, in a way, it's uh, like just like the movie that we did last week. Gotcha. It's got that Cold War feel to this movie also. Because and it's still a spy movie because you got spies running around in Afghanistan and you got running around in Russia. And so that's, but uh, it's not so much like action, it's more comedy versus the action. You get more comedy than you do action.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of questions for you. Let's see here. Where does it rank among John Landis's other comedies? Like, how does it compare to Fletch, Trading Places, or The Blues Brothers?
Yeah, I would put it at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
When it comes to those movies, yeah, it would be for me. It would definitely be the John Landis did Animal House, right?
He did Animal House as well, yes.
So Animal House is going to be my number one, and then it's going to be the Blues Brothers at number two, and probably putting Spies Like Us all the way to fifth or sixth place. So
I think Trading Places is my favorite Landis movie.
yeah,
Uh, this Spies Like Us is not exactly. I don't know. I mean, I when it comes to Blues Brothers, I unpopular opinion probably. I wasn't a huge Blues Brothers fan, but I didn't hate it either. You know, it
mm,
just it was what it was. Fletch, I could get into Fletch. I liked it. So Fletch and Trading Places are up there for me, probably at one and two, with Trading Places being first, maybe Fletch being second. Animal House is good. It's funny. Um, but I'm not going to completely rule this movie out and say it was super terrible or anything. It's
no,
just it's
I
not
mean,
as it's definitely not his best work though.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's super terrible neither, but I mean, it had its moments when it was funny, and it had its moments when it needed the action sequences, and you know, but like you said, it's not John Landis's like best work. So
No, well, what do you think John Belushi would have brought that Chevy Chase didn't?
more, probably more attitude to it, more comedy. So definitely more attitude. So because you get a lot of attitude and comedy in the Blues Brothers. So
Yeah, but would he have used that same character type humor that they did in the Blues Brothers, or would he try to change it up a little bit?
I think he would have probably changed it up a little bit just because it is a spy movie. You know, I think he would have. I think in some parts he would have been serious, and then some parts he would have, just kind of, just let words just fly from his mouth. So
Do you think Spies Like Us deserves to be called an underrated '80s comedy? And I'm gonna say no. I don't
yeah,
think. Oh well, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. We don't deserve to be called underrated. It's not really underrated, but it's not really top notch comedy either. It's just it is what it is. It's just it's a fairly decent movie across the board. It's not funny all the way through, but it has its moments. So I would think to be underrated, it would have had to been super funny, but not made a lot of money in ticket sales and gotten bad reviews and everything else. So I don't think it was like that.
yeah, I agree. So
My opinion, anyway. Though,
yeah, well,
um,
I agree with your opinion.
if you did a modern listen, this would have been great, and we'll never see it. Okay, a modern remake work. Which two comedians should star?
Oh
Okay, now I'm not going with
man,
today. I'm going with years past, well into the 2000s. It would have been 20 years old at least where they made a remake of it. And a
hmm
comedy duo that would have been great for it would have been Chris Farley and David Spade.
yeah, I could see that. I could see Chris Farley and David Spade, but I could also see, I could also see Will Ferrell and oh, who was that one person that Will Ferrell was always hanging out with that
Chris
they did?
Kattan.
Yes, yes, Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell.
We could also look and say that what is the guy's name that was with Will Ferrell? In well, they were trying to have like not a sorority, but like a um back
Oh,
to college or something. We're all going streaking or
what's that?
whatever.
What's that one? What's that one cat's name that was in those Will Ferrell movies? The Talladega Nights and oh
Was he in Dewey Cox walking
yeah, he was Dewey
walking
Cox. He,
hard?
he played Dewey Cox.
Step Brothers.
Yeah. Now those
John
two,
John something Riley or something like that,
yeah,
or John C.
those
Riley? No,
two,
not
yeah,
John C. Riley. Um, I forget his name. It's not John C. Riley though.
yeah.
But I mean, the guy that was all right. So the two guys from Wedding Crashers,
Okay, yeah.
um, Owen
Uh,
Wilson.
Owen Wilson and
See what
man,
happens when you get older, people. We can't think of nothing anymore. That
man,
if you want to make us look bad, go ahead and put in the comments below what the other guy's name is that we can't seem to call out, but we can see his face plain as
exactly.
day. He's Mr. Dodgeball for crying out loud.
Yeah,
I mean, I can tell you probably five
I
or
can
six
I can
movies right
name
off the
off
bat that
every
he's
single
in.
movie that he's been in, but I just can't remember his name.
We're pitiful.
Yeah, no, those two playing that role, Owen Wilson and damn it.
You want my what's that?
And now I could see those two
Do what, Marty?
people. Oh, Chris,
Oh.
Chris, I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah, we had a little glitch there. I'm sorry, everybody. We had a technical glitch happen for a second. I don't know. It had to be
Weather,
lag
man,
on my
weather,
part because
weather.
yeah. Yeah, it is pretty it is pretty bad weather where I'm at. I don't know about you, Marty, but it's definitely bad weather where I'm at with the storms going on. I was hoping it wouldn't affect the filming or anything, but it's actually getting a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
what
And
can I say?
it took off your ring light too.
No, actually I never turned it on.
Oh, okay. I was like, I was
This
like,
see, I've been for those watching. I know listeners wouldn't know anyway, but for those watching, I've been having a ring light on for the last few weeks to kind of help out with the lighting and everything, so my green screen thing's a little bit better. I just completely forgot to turn it on for tonight's episode, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Vince Vaughn is the guy's name, by the way, that we can't think of.
That's all right. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
We are so pitiful. That's a sure sign, Martin. It's time to wrap this thing up. So let's go ahead and take care of this wrapping things up now.
Oh, wait a
wow.
minute. Our favorite scenes.
Oh, that was my last thing I had, and I skipped it as always. What's the favorite scene or funniest scene in a movie for you?
I want to say my favorite scene has got to be the part where they're taking the test, where Frank goes and like the whole part where he pulls the paper out of his mouth to look at the answers. He's like, he writes on the back of his test sheet, what's the KGB stand for? And he kind of slides it over to Dan Aykroyd, and Dan Aykroyd's like, I'm not going to tell you what the. He's like, give me an answer, give me an answer. Yeah,
and did not hide it very well.
And then when the like the openings come up on the top of the windows and the cameras come popping out, yeah, I was taping everything. I was like, yeah, that's funny.
But jumps up screaming, he can't take it no more.
Wicked comedy, right?
He's having a breakdown and he's stealing people's test
like,
papers.
Oh my heart, I'm having a heart attack. And if you notice, his cast arm was still hanging, and his other arm had come out, and he's all like, I'm having a heart attack.
Yes. Mine's a little more simple than yours. Mine is just, I'm easily amused. We all know this. The doctor. I'm like, and I lost count of how many doctors there was, but I mean, it just doctored back and forth. You just couldn't handle it no more. That day cracked me up the most. So,
and that other part that was real funny was when Chevy Chase and Karen Dixon were in the tent, and she was telling him how much she admired him being a doctor and everything, and she wanted to see him take the appendix out on the one guy, and he was like, I would, but I have something wrong with my hand, and he's all down, and his hand's dangling down, and she's like, well, what's wrong? And he's like, too many surgeries, and he throws his hand up, and he grabs her right by the breast. I cracked up.
His hand looked pretty operable then, didn't it?
Yeah, it was.
All right, closing thoughts. Spies Like Us may not be the most polished comedy that Chevy Chase or Dan Aykroyd ever made, but it may be one of the most unmistakably 80s comedy that they made. It combines Cold War paranoia, government incompetence, nuclear technology, a Paul McCartney song, 2 original SNL stars, and enough director cameos to fill an entire film festival. The movie begins as a workplace comedy, turns into a Hope and Crosby road adventure, and eventually becomes a satire about 2 fools attempting to prevent nuclear war. And maybe that's why it remains so memorable. Fitz-Hume and Millbarge may be the wrong spies, but when the professionals fail, they're exactly the spies that the world needs. So if you enjoyed the episode, follow us on social media, as I mentioned earlier. We are on Instagram once again, Facebook, TikTok, on YouTube. Subscribe to us, follow the podcast, do what Marty likes to say.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell. Share this episode with other fans of 80s movies, and you can also support us, like I mentioned, and support the show by visiting our t-shirt shop at vintagevibes.shop.com. It's vintage vibes, plural, shop.com. Don't be like Marty and type shop. It's not going to come up. I'm sorry, vibe. If you type vibe, it's not going to come up. Vintage vibes, Marty.
2 S's.
1 S. Vintage vibes and then shop.com. Don't listen to Marty. Ignore Marty. Lord. Until next time. Until next time, keep living that retro life. And remember, if someone at a secret government agency suddenly promotes you, don't celebrate until they tell you what the mission is.
Exactly.
Marty, what do these people need to do?
Always stay retro.